Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Japan Toyzu. This time we're going to continue our rampage through the galaxy by forcing, it's connecting words of what I'm doing. I'm smart. Woo! Going crazy. Yes, I'm going to be doing another Galaxy Force toy, and this time it's on arguably a much better toy than Thundercracker. It's going to be Guardshell. Though I can't remember what his Cybertron name was from the American show, and I don't really care, but someone will probably no doubt throw it in the bottom, but there you go. Yeah, this is it seems to be a bit harder, a bit more expensive, at least, when I check on eBay. He's a bit more expensive. I don't know if that means he's rarer or what, but yeah. Let's get on and look at this shovel dude, construction thingy. Oddly enough, I don't think this guy's ever got a repaint. I could be wrong. It'd be really shocking, since it is a construction vehicle, if it hasn't got some kind of green repaint into, I don't know, a Constructicon, but I honestly don't think it's happened. So, okay, let's get on with the video, shall we? How? So Guardshell here in his vehicle mode is not too bad. He's nice, bright and colourful, like the rest of the toy, I'm sure I'm going to say later on in the video, but it does have some problems. For instance, the brown and grey pieces that cover up the place where the driver would sit kind of take away some of the Earth mode-y look to this thing and just make it look like a big yellow brick for the most part. There are some good points to it though. I like the fact that it's got lights on top of where the driver would sit, and right behind I like how it's got the exhaust pipes. That's kind of cool. The big wheel's also a plus, and the sculpted on ladder on each side of him is kind of neat. And the dry brushing actually on the digger part is really nice. It's nice that they've gone to all that trouble, really. But the gun on the back, yeah, it's kind of weird, but there you go. There's not a huge amount to say over the vehicle mode, but I'll mention again the giant wheels are nice. He does come with a Cyber Planet key, which you can use in vehicle mode, but I'll talk about that later. We do have the silly gun here on the back, as I mentioned. And, oh yes, let's talk about this part that can move up. It also has a joint here. Not a huge amount of movement to it, but a little bit. You can lift it up higher, but that'll be for the transformation. But it is possible to get it up a bit higher than what I've done here. We've got a wheel on the back here again. Later on we'll talk about the sculpted on ladder is cool. The canopy should have been a bit more revealed, and I wish these parts would be a bit more straight. Apart from that, we do have a big hole here, which is kind of a shame. And I think it would have been better to store the gun here, so then he could shoot while driving forward. But that's just my thought on it anyway. But let's take him now to his robot mode, shall we? Guardshell now in his robot mode, I think looks pretty good. He's got a bit of kibble here and there, obviously on his arms, and a lot on his back. But I really do like just the overall look and the colours on him. I think they complement each other really nicely. And even the back kibble, though a bit silly, doesn't bother me too much. I think it looks quite nice, and you know, I can go, okay, cool, fine, whatever. So in terms of articulation, the head will swivel. It won't go all the way around just because of the shape of his head and the way his neck works. It's just there, they kind of knock, but you know, he's got a good amount. We can move these if we want, but why would you? The arms are on a ball joint, and because of the transformation, you can tilt them in a little bit, which is cool. They go out that far, and obviously they go all the way around, but the digger part will hit on the wheel if you're not careful. I have an elbow joint because it's a ball. It's got bicep swivel, and if you want, you can move his wrist inwards. But I don't know why you'd want to. No waist joint, unfortunately, but we do have a leg joint. It doesn't really go out too far, and that's just because of the way that they've cut the joint. I suppose maybe you might be able to do a bit of modifying to get him to get his legs out a bit more if you really want. Let's try and get a light in there. You can just... Oh, come on. You can just about see where the cut is, and if it was a bit more to it, or maybe a bit thicker, you could probably get a bit more articulation, but there you go, that's what we've got. We've also got a knee swivel right there, so he can swivel his knee, and we've also got a bend, which is 90 degrees, which is fine. It does what it has to, and of course his little feet bend as well. Let's get his groin down. There we go. I do like the groin flap. It's silly but fun. Yeah, so with the articulation here, he can actually do a fair amount, you know. He's pretty cool. And of course, we do have his gun here, which isn't too bad. It's a gun he can hold. It is a firing missile, and it's got some detail on it, which is kind of cool. Is it a push or a pull? I can't remember. Oh, it's a pull. Boom. Yeah, so you can fire it, and maybe you just want to show it a gun or have it more of a rifle. And now for the Cyber Planet key, I think. So around the back, we have the wheels. We have the port for the Cyber Planet key. So you just shove it in. You do a twist. One way, there we go, and it can click, sometimes it clicks, there we go, and it's locked in, and we do it on the other side. Yes, that's right guys, he gets spikes on both of his wheels, which is why I couldn't be bothered really to show you in his vehicle mode, because it would have been a bit annoying, but you know, there we go. And what you're meant to do now is, he's meant to do this weird hurricane thing. Maybe you want to leave the key in there, you can do if you want. And we lift this part up, well, when you get it nice and right. In the show, he was meant to create this weird hurricane thing, if I remember, and this wheel, when spun, obviously it lets you spin both wheels at once, as long as you've got them lined up nicely. It's kind of a cool gimmick. I like spikes. It's a bit weird, but it is better than Thundercrackers, at least. I kind of dig it. Overall, I think Guardshell is a pretty solid deluxe toy. His Cyber Planet key is a bit silly, but I like spiky things, and spiky wheels are always cool in my books. I still think it's weird that I don't think this guy has ever got a repaint. I might be wrong on that. But he's a fun toy. He's got a good look to him. He's fairly fun to play with. He's got a good transformation. And I think he still holds up today. He's one of the good ones from Galaxy 4 Cybertron, which I think he's one of the ones that might get looked over a little bit. But don't pass him up if you've got the opportunity to get him. So thank you guys, and I will see you next time for something else in the future. I don't know what though.